From the El Toro Water District, I want to welcome Director Mike Gaskins to the program. Welcome back.
Okay,
Good
thank
to have
you so
here.
much.
Absolutely.
I enjoy being here.
You guys, your big water quality report just came out, and you guys released a lot of good information. Let's start a little bit with where our water comes from, because we have no groundwater sources here in this area of Orange County,
Correct.
right?
Orange County, we were not blessed with good geology. But we have to import it from somewhere. It comes both from Northern California and from the Colorado River, and depending on demand and what Metropolitan Water District is doing, it may come down the aqueduct through the California Delta and then pumped into the aqueduct. Or it may come from the Colorado River at the bottom of Lake Havasu and come across the desert.
I just drove up to Santa Cruz, and you see that aqueduct on the way up on the 5. It is an amazing feat of engineering. It's just like this giant river just pulling all that water down from Northern California.
Right, and it flows kind of continually.
Right.
And, there are pumping stations that lift it out of the delta and put it up, and there are environmental questions about the delta itself, and a lot of discussion about how to move water through the delta, because right now it's put in to the north end and picked up out of the south end. But there are some other issues.
Well, Colorado River also, and that's kind of one of those things that you want to look down the road at with you guys, right? Because there are apportionment battles going on with all the states in terms of how much water we can actually take from Colorado.
Right, and supposedly the water is oversubscribed.
Okay.
In other words,
there's not enough.
There's not enough water in the river
in terms of what everybody says they are allowed to have. If we all took that, there would be no Colorado River,
and
basically.
There's a lot of mine, you know.
And so that's still being negotiated. I know that you're not in those negotiations, but I'm sure you get wind of what's going on there.
We follow along.
Right.
That's the Municipal Water District of Orange County is the wholesaler, and they kind of coordinate the water and water deliveries in the county.
Yeah, so we are definitely dependent on two sources that do have their challenges. But let's talk about the water quality report you just brought up. It's a good one.
This is annual, and the water quality report, which should be in the mail here soon. I know the printers got it, and it's on our website. And it goes through and tells you a lot more information than you probably want. But the bottom line is the water is safe. It's drinkable. It does have a fairly high mineral content, so sometimes we get some mineral deposition that you'll see, or if you buy a new dishwasher or something, it
maybe a couple spots on the glasses.
Yeah, use a rinse. But the quality of the water, it's absolutely safe to drink. The only reason to buy bottled water is if you like the taste better.
And that is the kind of distinction. People say, oh, our water quality, maybe people mistakenly say, oh, our water quality is not good. It tastes funny, or it has a taste to it. What do you attribute that little kind of maybe aftertaste? Is it the kind of the process of which the water is treated?
No, I think it's part of the mineral content of the thing. But I've always wondered about the paradox of people getting a water filtration system, taking all the minerals out, and then getting multivitamins with minerals. You know, I mean, we're delivering you a little piece of the Grand Canyon right to your tap.
There you go. I can be part of history right there. The testing and the quality reporting you guys do, is that going on a daily basis? Are you guys testing water every single day in some way, shape, or form?
There is a map in the that shows what our testing is. The big report. There's the map that's on the screen right now. That shows our regular sample sites. And we sample those sites for chlorine residual. Chlorine is good, because without chlorine in it, bacteria can grow.
Right.
So the chlorine residual is important. Nitrite, which is a potential health risk, so we want to do that. And then coliform bacteria, which are coliform by themselves aren't necessarily bad, but it's guilt by association. If you have coliform bacteria in there, you probably have fairly fresh fecal matter somewhere in the system. And so that's tested every single week at all those sites that are on the map.
And there's pictures of folks that we have like testing at the little sites, and there's also in the lab looking a look at that. And when they find something that maybe is an aberration, what happens along those lines? Is it, where do you go back to the source?
Well, we have to prove that the water is safe to drink.
Right.
We put on notice. Let's say that there's a positive coliform, and because I talked to Dennis Cafferty, our general manager, I think they've had one positive coliform in the last 20 years or something. It's very rare, but there's a protocol where you go out back to the sample site, which is shown on the screen with the gentleman
Right.
in that vest, taking this water sample. We would go to that site, resample it, and 2 connections up and 2 connections down along that pipe, and affirm that there's no more bacteria. But again, we would double check the chlorine, boost the chlorine content if necessary, and if it's a problem, we would put we never had a boil notice, but that
Right,
would be.
and that can happen sometimes in some areas where there's been a big fire or there's been an impact in their water, especially if they're open reservoirs that are maybe
Sure.
ash are falling into and things like that. There's a no drink orders have gone into effect, but we haven't had that trouble down here at least.
We have not, and our reservoir, big reservoir, is actually lined and covered with a giant wetsuit.
Yes, those giant black tarp covers that we see.
Well, it's actually a neoprene
Right.
type material, more like an inflatable boat, but
Oh, okay.
it's 25 acres.
Amazing, amazing. As a director, what are you most concerned about? What do you do most of your oversight covering at the level of director?
Well, the staff is amazing. We have one of my opinion, the best. And our board works well together. And we want to make sure that we're fiscally responsible, but we recognize that infrastructure doesn't last forever. And there are repairs that we're going to have to make in a number of places. One of them is a wastewater line having this called Techite pipe that in the 90s or 70s, it was the greatest and it's going to last forever. Well, it doesn't.
Nothing does.
And there have been a couple of spills, breaks, and we're trying to get ahead of that. And we're going to be doing a replacement of a stretch of that pipe that's going to impact the golf course. And we just don't know exactly how it's going to impact it yet.
Now, Laguna Woods Village, depending on where you are, use also like reclaimed water and drinking water, right? The potable water, as we call it?
Yeah, potable is what comes from Northern California. It's being used. It's used in showers and dishwashers and toilets. And that's taken to our water reclamation plant, which is down next to the RV yard, close to Clubhouse 4. And it's treated to a very high quality, and then chlorine's added. And then it's put into a temporary reservoir, that little lake along Moulton. And then it can be used to irrigate the golf course, most of Third, et cetera. There is no reclaimed water across El Toro Road at United. It's something we've looked at, but it's complicated and maybe expensive, and we won't have the money to front the money to do it. But we'd be glad to. We'd be happy to sell more, because we're still sending a fair amount of water to the ocean out through an outfall at Aliso Beach.
You can't use all the stuff you're reclaiming, basically.
We don't have a market for it.
Right. Okay. And so, what should residents be conscious of or doing in their home in terms of conservation and making sure they're not kind of overusing water in what kind of wasteful ways?
Don't leave the taps running. If you're shaving, you can turn the water on and off. I'm not sure we need to have the bucket in the shower right now, because we're not on any kind of water crisis. One of the items coming up on this next board meeting, which is tomorrow, is a drought response program that we have to produce for the state. And it has different levels of crisis. And right now, we're not in water crisis. Reservoirs in Northern California are mostly full.
Right.
So even if we have a really dry year this year we're probably okay. But it's future years that we don't know. And I just watched a special the other night on Tahoe, but it talked about a 200-year drought period that Tahoe mostly dried up, a lot of time.
Well,
and
wow.
if that happened to us,
that would be devastating.
Yeah, and there are alternate sources of water that are being explored. Direct potable reuse, where we would take the water that's coming out of our treatment plant, treat it to drinking water standards, and put it in the system. That's being explored
Okay.
in LA. It's in place in San Diego. And Molten Nagel is thinking about it in one of our neighbor water districts. And then also South Coast Water District is doing a desalination project at Doheny. Those are all technologies that work fine, but they're expensive. 3 to 4 times what the current cost of water coming through the Metropolitan Water District is.
All right, well, that report's out right now. It'll be coming in the mailboxes soon, and it's also available on the website.
Yes.
All right, Director Gaskins from
And
the El Toro.
we've got people that will answer questions. All you have to do is call. You don't get a computer when you call us.
Oh, I like that part. All right, from the El Toro Water District. Thank you very much, Director Gaskins.
And thank you for having me.
Bree's going to be up next with the Republican Club. Stay with us.